Luciani is making an argument that many anti-tithers make. You see, Jesus did affirm tithing. He told us to tithe, Matthew 23:23, Luke chapter 21. Jesus affirmed that we should be tithing as well as show justice, mercy, and faithfulness. So what Luciani does is he says, well, yeah, Jesus said it, but he's just giving particular teachings that would be given to anyone under the Jewish law. Therefore, it's irrelevant. His words don't matter to us today. What Luciani is doing, though, he's committing blasphemy against the Lord Jesus Christ. You say, how do I say that? It's real simple. Jesus said in Matthew 24, verse 35, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. That word pass away means becomes obsolete, dies out. It's irrelevant. And that's what Luciani is doing. He's saying Christ's teachings on tithing have passed away. They're obsolete. They're irrelevant to us today. They have fallen to the ground. They're dead and buried. Therefore, we don't have to obey them. What he's doing is he's saying Jesus is no more better than the teacher of the law. And he is denying the divinity of Christ with that argument. Now, I know Luciani says, no, I believe in the divinity of Christ. Then why are you treating Christ's words as if he's a teacher of the law instead of the divine Son of God? Do you see Jesus' words, no matter when he spoke it and to whom he spoke it, they are God speaking. And therefore, since God is speaking, his words are eternal. Therefore, they cannot pass away. So you anti-tithers who's trying to skirt around Jesus' own teachings affirming tithing, what you're doing in doing so, you're denying the divinity of Christ in your teachings. You're forgetting he is the divine Son of God, not some teacher of the law, not some Pharisee, but he is God himself. Therefore, whatever God says on earth is eternal. And Luciani has forgotten that point, and every anti-tither has forgotten this point. But let me give you one final point. Jesus said, just before the great Sermon on the Mount, he said, anyone who breaks any of the least of my commandments, any of the commandments I give you, and then teaches others to disobey me, they will be considered least in the kingdom of heaven. Now, Jesus didn't say you're not going to go to heaven. You're not going to be part of heaven if you deny my teaching. So Luciani can still be part of the kingdom of heaven. But Jesus said he's going to be least. And in fact, everyone who tells people not to obey me and will be considered least in the kingdom of heaven. And that's serious. So every anti-tither, it's not just whether tithing is New Testament or not. Jesus is the New Testament giver. He's the new covenant giver. Therefore, his words are binding. It's not just about tithing, yes or no. I know Jesus said it, but here's how I skirt around it. It's actually getting to the heart of the matter, because you're denying the divinity of Christ by making an argument that tithing is the old covenant and Jesus preached the old covenant and therefore his words pass away. Do you see the seriousness of this argument? And I will say this, the church councils in the 5th and 6th centuries, bishops gathered in separate convengs to discuss tithing, and all of them came with the same conclusion. They said, since Jesus said to tithe, no one can come against it. And I find that to be interesting, that the early church understood the words of Christ are final, and therefore no argument can be valid if they're going to teach against the teachings of Jesus Christ.